My two guests suggested if I really want to know what's going on in London, the nightlife, the hot restaurants, the hot hotels, the places that people are going to, I should talk to London taxi cab drivers. Failing that, we decided to talk to them. They are Nicholas Rettie, General Manager of the Metropolitan Hotel, one of the hot hotels in this city. Gordon Ramsay of Aubergine, he is the owner and the chef, and it is a restaurant, a 3-star Michelin restaurant that is getting a lot of attention here in this city. I am pleased to have both of them for a consideration of what is happening here. Am I right about 3 stars, or is it not yet 3 stars?
Hopefully next year.
Hopefully next. You're 2 now.
Two now. That's right.
You've gone from 1
to 2.
2 in a matter of how long?
3 years.
In 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
You two are the best at what you do, and what you have created represents that. What's happening in this city? Both of you suggested if I really wanted to know, I should talk to taxi cab drivers. Yes. Unfortunately, I don't have them here. Tell me what is happening. You know, how is the feeling, the nightlife, the mood, the sense of we're happening?
Sure. I mean, the confidence is riding high. People are spending a lot more money. I don't really see...
Because the market's been good to them, because they simply have more money, or...
Well, I mean, I suppose we weathered the storm where
exactly.
When we went into recession.
Exactly.
4.5 years ago. Confidence is back. Prices of property are rising rapidly. Yeah. They're now starting to put premiums on licenses and locating new restaurants, etc. And there's this boom, especially where food is concerned.
But Gordon, you know what it was? That recession was very bad, very hard in London in the early 90s, and it forced people to be creative, to think differently,
Absolutely.
to be daring, to chuck the conventions out. Let's do something different. Mm-hmm. And it forces this energy out of people, which is very creative.
Mm-hmm. It's been revamped.
I think it's now the benefit of that we're seeing in fashion, in restaurants, in hotels, in entertainment, in every field of life in London. And that's why there's this energy. And as long as we can keep renovating and keep rejuvenating new ideas, we'll keep it. Yeah. As soon as we get lazy, it'll go off.
But it's decidedly different than it was, say, 3 years ago.
Oh, no question.
Absolutely.
No question.
But value for money as well, though. I think that's the essence. We're not getting into ludicrous prices of, £200-300 a head and £400-500 a night to stay in hotels. It is proper value for money, and that's what's winning the confidence.
Yes. Now, are you in the kitchen
constantly?
Yeah,
I mean, I had my T-shirt, you'll see my burns on my arm. I'm physically hands-on.
You are?
I have a second outlet in St James, which is headed by my second chef. But no, I mean, I'm physically still 4 years down the line, 3.5 years down the line, hands-on chef.
How long will you do that?
Well, my objective, of course, is to go on and win my 3rd star.
How do you do that? I mean, you set out with a goal.
Sure.
Because I've read about this. Mm-hmm. If I can believe what I read,
yep.
You set out to win the 1st star.
That's right.
You got it. Yep. You set out to win the 2nd star.
That's
you
right.
got it.
Yep.
Now you want the 3rd star.
Sure.
And then the 4th, whatever comes after that.
No, I'd like to retire.
Yeah.
Go back to football.
What is it about winning a star? How do you go about that? And
I don't want to become sort of possessed about this guide. This guide, unfortunately, is known far more in the trade than it is out the trade.
And I'm not trying to suggest that your life is devoted to winning a star.
And it's seen as a chef's Oscars, but I think especially in this country, we lose the plot where the guides are concerned, because Danielle's, for instance, or David Bouley in New York, as you well know, in this country there'd be no 2 ways about it. There'd be 3-star Michelin, and they store catering for 250 covers at dinner and 100 covers for lunch. In this country, I don't think that these starred restaurants should be there to enhance businesses. They should be there to confirm what you're doing. And we've got it wrong somewhat in this country. The fact that we get 2 stars or a 3-star restaurant, and all of a sudden prices triple. Yeah. And you can get in on the day. I can name 3 or 4 3-star restaurants today in this country that we can get in for lunch tomorrow, dinner tomorrow.
So it should be a confirmation that you are doing something well.
Correct, absolutely. And not OTT, and not losing the plot, not becoming too formal and hovering over tables, watching them eat and making them feel uncomfortable, because there's no point in going out to be made to feel uncomfortable. That's not eating out.
Is there something to be said for the notion of the excitement that's here? A change of government and a young prime minister who seems to be supported with huge numbers of support, but also very popular with the people who go to restaurants and go to nightclubs.
No question. Which follows which, I don't know. One could talk about that probably all night, but I think that there is a tremendous sense of energy and resurgence of change, and the political change stimulates people to think of changes in their own lives. Right. And, well, if they're changing things, well, maybe we can change them too. And I think that's very healthy. I think as soon as you eschew change, you're in trouble.
The Metropolitan Hotel is part of what?
It's private.
Private.
That's the other thing. It's private. We don't belong to a big company that say, fellows, this is the way you're going to run the hotel. Mm-hmm. We can do it the way we want, and that allows us to be fast of foot and to chuck out the conventions.
Ahead.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you have any desire to take your hotel, your restaurant to New York or Los Angeles?
No, I mean it has been mentioned and rumoured, but yeah, I'm want to concentrate on my own personal goal. I suppose maybe 5 years. I'm only 30, so maybe 5-10 years down the line, I would like to look at that possibility. But with what's going on at the moment and setting out to achieve my own personal goal, I'm very happy to continue doing that.
What's the most important lesson you ever learned about food?
So far, a very interesting advice which was given to me by Guy Savoy in Paris before leaving to set up the Aubergine was, become a star, but make sure it's in your kitchen and nowhere else. And that rings home. I don't want to start going on telly and messing around with comic programs, which we've got unfortunately quite a lot of at the moment in this country, and keep your hands in the food.
Yeah. Interesting. I got the same advice, somebody gave me the same advice about what you do, to do what you do well. Absolutely. And become the best at that. And don't get distracted by all the other things that will become part of being good at one thing.
The politics. Absolutely.
Yes. Stick to the knitting.
What about you? Best advice about being in the business you're in?
Listen. Listen to what people are saying and believe in what you want to do, and don't get distracted by temporary setbacks or what the other guys are doing. Because if your thoughts are correct, if your concept is right, it will work. It may not work immediately, but hang on in there, because without determination, you will never make it. And if you are determined, other people will hold in high esteem what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And I think we're too quick to get pulled away and distracted.
Thank you both. It's a pleasure to have you on the broadcast as we take the pulse of London, two people who are doing something very well in terms of creating a restaurant that has great food that people want to come, and a hotel that has people who want to come and stay there. Thank you. Pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.